What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. I just I'm about to post something. So I have this young man that I've been mentoring for some time. He's in high school,
No,
and maybe we could leave it for the thing for the live. We're
we're
live.
live.
Shit. All right. So what's going on? What's going on is
What's
I've
we love.
been sorry. I've been mentoring this young man uh, from Miami Dade, and he's in high school. He's 18 years old.
He goes to
And
high school in Miami.
so, yeah, yeah, goes to high school in Miami. I think he just turned 13, something like. He's a senior, and
Okay.
so he's graduating or whatever. But I don't know if he needed some community hours or whatever it is. So I applied for the Miami Dade County like academic internship program. The business
Would
did.
you
So
would you put there as your business for?
no, legit marketing and sales for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did marketing and sales in real estate. They ask questions, they verify your EIN, they do all that. Like they do a
Okay.
background check. Um, and the reason as long as it's not a work from home type of thing, like meaning from my home, like they got to come to my home or whatever and work,
Right.
and you have like a virtual business or an office, they go through the background check and whatever. And so I got approved for it, and so now I can intern. I mean, well, people can intern for
Cool.
my business, which is cool because I like the email that they send. Kind of like making an impact in the transition from people that are about to graduate and going into college or the
Right.
workforce, and kind of give them those skills, the real life skills, to be able to transition right from you've been pretty much molded into the school system and schedule these classes or whatever, to now like you're a big boy and girl, right?
Reality.
Like
Yeah,
you
it's
need
not
to,
very reality
yeah,
based.
because they can't really provide you reality based unless they have people come, do some kind of work presentation thing where somebody comes in and says, hey, this is what I do for a living.
And then that's
But
not really, you don't really get the understanding of
no,
really what it's like unless you're
right.
actually in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I applied, he's in there. So now he gets two things. Now, obviously, he's getting trained by me and real life skills and being able to do real life deals. And then he also gets his community hours or whatever he needs for his internship requirements. So
Cool.
it's cool. It's cool. And you always want to make an impact and you just don't know how that will end up being. But I'm kind of glad that the kid introduced me to that and that it was approved. So now I can offer that to a couple different people and help them get shaped. Like man, I wish somebody would have done that for me when I was in high school. I'd be a completely different person today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I probably would have been. I probably wouldn't have taken an internship in high school. I probably wouldn't have been smart enough. Even if I was offered the position, I probably wouldn't have been smart enough to take it. I think for me, it always just goes back to the factor of just like I just wasn't set up to make smart decisions. Like I wasn't making smart decisions, and if I would have taken an internship, I probably wouldn't have even like respected the position well enough. I probably wouldn't have even because I wasn't a very respectful guy in high school,
Come on, Dan.
say the least. I wasn't. I probably relate more to the kids that are not as respectful. You know what I mean, to authority and to people that are already have some success. Like I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have been more like the guys that I don't like talking to. You know what I mean? So I definitely would not have been in a position to where I would have understood the benefits that
Yeah.
could have brought me for sure. Yeah, no, I was literally just talking about it before I jumped on before we jumped on the pod. I was literally just talking about how I was at that time and why some decisions that I decided to make at that time have probably cast a shadow over my life now, and probably some things that I have access to, unfortunately. So yeah, I think about that. I think about that sometimes, and I wish I would have been as smart as this kid who's mentoring for you.
Yeah, I mean, necessity put him in this situation too, though. Sometimes it's your circumstances that will put you in different situations, and you when you're that age, like, man, I think that's probably where you have the most cross roads in your life, is when you're a child, like when you're a child or you're a young adult, because your life can shape one way or another. Not to say that even if you're in your mid 20s, mid 30s, 40s, that you can't really change your life, but it should becomes a little bit harder when you have, big boy and girl adult things that you have to do to survive
Right.
or to make it or break it or whatever. But when you're a young person, you have like so many different ways that you can go about life, and it helps mold. I believe that it helps mold who you potentially could be, and if you choose right, man, like you can really catapult to
Right.
either or. Like if you choose wrong and you hang out with the wrong people, and you're lazy and you start doing activities that you should not be doing, well, it's
Activities.
probably the fastest road, right?
Yeah.
Activities, whatever they may be. It's probably the fastest road to, death or jail or addiction or whatever, right? Like that. And that's what happened.
Thankfully, I never died or went to jail.
It's good.
Developed some addictions, not for drugs,
Other stuff.
but other things that I won't go into on this podcast. We would need to be on another podcast in another genre. Probably discuss that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
But
not everybody. I mean,
I
some
wasn't.
people just,
I definitely wasn't drinking Mountain Valley spring
what?
water.
It was not.
I wasn't. If I was drinking out of a bottle, it definitely was not Mountain Valley spring water in a glass. No.
But no, I mean, this kid, I know for sure he's molding himself to honestly become a very, very successful person. Very, very successful person at a very young age.
That's good.
And he's a very humble individual, comes from very humble beginnings. And but his will and the path that he's in and his mindset is that of a 30-year-old plus. Like he is really getting after it at all positive costs, right? Because there's other costs that you can.
That's good because with my background, there's very few people that really come from my background that really like I'm a rare addition. One, I'm I'm
You
like
are.
I'm like
You
I'm
are.
like
That's why we
I'm like
love you,
one
Dan.
of I'm like one of 99. You know what I mean? I'm like the Mercedes G wagon with the with the whole extended back. You know what I mean? That
Yes,
one.
you're the eight. You're the 8x8
With
AMG Bravos.
the cabriolet in the back.
Yeah, it's you.
That's me. I'm one of 99. There's very few of us that really come, from my position that really, make it this way. And it's funny now because it's funny because I don't ever go back home. I don't really talk to people. The only people I talk to from back home are the people that I still, hang out with and I'm still close to. Like that's it. And they already kind of know where I'm at. They kind of already understand. Like they've been around me, like they've stayed around me. So they know what I'm doing and where I'm at. Right. But it's like very, very, very few people from back home. And I think we talked about this last time I was on here. I had very, very, very few people from my back home like even really know anything about what I'm doing now. They don't even really understand. I think they'll see me post stuff, but I don't know. Most people don't even really pay attention. You know what I mean, to what other people are posting for the most part. So I don't really think people even really from back home really even know what I'm doing now. Most of them probably don't really give a shit. That's fine with me, but
I mean,
it's
not
just
everybody is supposed to, and just because
yeah,
you're born in a certain circumstance or place or whatever, yeah, you may be that one that gets out. I don't really talk to most people back from where I come from, and at all, period. Just like you,
right.
I believe people and circumstances or whatever are in your life for a certain purpose and time, and then after that, kind of either evolve or grow out of that, and you don't really need to go back if it's not serving you. Now, if they reach out to you, that's a different story. But if they don't want to, then that is what that is.
Somebody, it's funny you say that. I had somebody reach out yesterday who exited my life somewhat recently, and I was like kind of taken back a little bit because I didn't really know how to respond. It's funny. It's funny. I almost called you. I almost called you, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to bother." Once it's
You
Sunday.
should have.
One's with his family. One's with his family. I don't want to. I don't want to. I want this to be a situation for him. So I was just like, I'm just, I know. I think the thing is like, I know. I already knew how I should have responded. I think I just like wanted confirmation.
Okay.
So I
You
think
can
I
always.
responded. I responded in the best way that I felt like was the best way to do it, and I felt satisfied with how I
Okay.
handled that situation.
So then what you're saying is before you responded, you said, "What would Juan say?" And then,
Maybe, and then I probably didn't say. I probably didn't say what Juan would say because I'm
right,
not that clever. I'm not that clever in my
I'm gonna do the
words.
opposite. I'm gonna do the
Yeah, yeah,
opposite.
yeah. But I felt like you would tell me to respect myself and my position and do what I felt is going to most benefit me, and that's what I did.
Okay, that is good advice. I definitely would give you that advice.
I think that's what you would say. So I felt, and I feel like that's how you have to handle those certain situations, right? Because it's just like I feel like you don't want people in your life that you're giving like because I know in my past there was like there's been so many people in my life that I've given a lot to, but never really benefited me. But I
Yes,
continued to give to them simply because I felt like I was in a position where I could. But just because we're in a position where you can doesn't mean you should. And that's a
yes.
lesson that I needed that I learned in this past year. That was a lesson I had to teach myself that I hadn't really developed yet. I feel like now I'm in a position where I really have developed that skill that just because I can give to someone doesn't mean that I should
Yep.
if it's really like if it's draining for me or if it's affecting me long term, right?
Correct.
Because then the people that are giving to you that want to give to you, then they kind of suffer to a certain degree. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's something that I needed to learn and focus on, and that's something that I kind of feel good about that I've improved with in the past year. Like I always try to find something that I feel like I've really done to improve because I really haven't had any major jumps. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like in a couple years. You know what I mean? Like because for a while it was just like about like you know. The right decisions to make financially and those kind of things. And I feel like that I haven't really been able to make. Like I've reached a large jump in those things. Kind of like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I haven't really been able to like get that feeling back on certain things. But this is something that I've struggled with for a long time, and I feel like I've finally been able to really. Like I guess that situation yesterday kind of solidified that I've improved that aspect of myself.
It's good. I love the fact that you've self-reflected on that. And it takes some of us. It takes time, right? Because for whatever reasons, we'll feel like we're right. We're in the right. Sometimes we have to kind of analyze and see how we can grow from certain circumstances, how would I have responded before? Is it really about me, or is it, what is it? But yeah, I feel that's come up a couple times, like being able to weed out certain situations or people that should not be in your life if they're not really adding value. Um, and even if you're in the position to help, maybe not the right thing to do, just because that person also may have to go through some trials and tribulations without your help to really figure out the root of their problem and what they need to do to become better as a human being and evolve. Because some
Right.
people come back to you with the same shit
Right.
over and over and over and over again. And
Right.
so I've done that. I've been a victim of, or I've played the victim on that side too, where I'll go and say, be or play the victim to somebody else that please help me or whatever. I've done that before. And it's like they may have to cut you off, right? That you can't have
Yeah,
that
I mean,
crutch.
there are people in my life from the past, like from my past self, that I'm sure felt like that, felt like they had to cut me off, and I totally understand. I mean, I respect that decision. That got to a point where I respected that decision, understood their decision,
Yeah,
right? But
and it's okay. It's
yeah,
okay. I mean, I don't. I try not to take anything personal. I try not to have any remorse or negative feelings towards anybody. Whether you've done something wrong to me or not, I've really matured in that aspect where I release those type of thoughts and those type of feelings, and I actually do pray for forgiveness if they, some way or another, did something to me that hurt me. At sometimes they do it not to intentionally hurt you, but it's like a reflection of them and things that they have to grow and deal with themselves. But I want to make sure that at least on my side of things, man, I'm good. Like I'm good. I forgive you. It's all good. We don't have to speak. We don't have to be best friends. We don't have to be even family members if you don't want to, or if I don't want to, and I'll be okay with that, right? And sometimes it is the people that are the closest to you that happens with, and you can't feed into that either. Just because they're your brother, sister, mother, father, or whatever, like you can't really feed into that as well. That's the way I see things. I have love for those people, but I'm not like entertaining the negative of those people or the things that they bring into my life that doesn't add value. I kind of put a fine line, right? A block between that so that it doesn't affect me because I got my own shit going on. I got my own stuff that I got to grow from. I got to get to whatever level that I'm looking to get to. And if you just keep feeding me with more of the distraction, well, I can't get to where I want to get. And unfortunately, if it's either you're with me in the journey that I'm in
right.
to that next level, or I have to leave you behind. I
Yeah,
have to.
yeah, and I felt like with that individual, I just felt like the cons outweighed the pros of me bringing them back into my life, and I was like, while I am sorry that you feel this way, that me not being in your life is hard for you, I feel like I can't bring you back into my life because it only negatively affecting me. Like, there's no positive ways that I see it really affecting my life. So,
Correct.
I mean, yeah, I mean, sometimes those decisions are hard decisions, but I also feel like with me, and I sit there and I sit in front of this camera every single day, and I do these shows every single day. When I'm on the REI Ref, Discord, we go into these, coffee with closers morning shows, and I sit there and I preach to these people and I motivate these people and I tell them to live a certain way, right? I gotta stay true to that, right?
You
I
do.
have to. It's very important for me to stay true to what I say and what I'm telling them to do, because if like I go back on that, then it's like my word's not valid, right? So it's like,
Uh, yes and no, Dan. Yes and no. You know why? Yes, you got to be authentic. You got to be authentic, right? But there are some things that you would tell people to do because it will literally benefit them, although you may struggle with X, Y, and Z, right? And it's okay to tell them like, hey, I struggle with X, Y, and Z. This is why I feel that you should live your life or you should make these type of decisions because I'm still trying to climb out of these things that I've done or things that you may be struggling with. I'm climbing out of that. I'm going to tell you right now, really long road. You should do X, Y, and Z, because if I could go back, I would choose X, Y, and Z versus where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're not really not walking the walk. You're living through it, and you're giving them better advice as to where you are in your life right now. So that's why I say, yeah, yes, and no, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, but it's good that you and I are involved with a lot of these people on a daily basis, and I think that sometimes is the calling, right? Above and beyond success and getting to the next level is the impact. Sometimes that's even more important than our own specific desires. I feel sometimes.
Right.
I give you an example. I started coaching this. I started this coaching business 2.5 years ago. And when I started, it wasn't really like I was going to be a real estate coach. I was doing it because it was natural, and a few people kind of reached out, and so the business began into what it is today, as far as the real estate sales coaching business. So long story short, there's a young man that I started coaching on a group session, and the guy literally started from like rock bottom. He was some marketing, but didn't really have a lot of sales skills, didn't have a lot of the tools in his tool belt to like really, take it to the next level, or even get his first deal. I did the mentorship with him for like 3 or 4 months, I think it was. Man, and that kid, like, he took that information and all of the training, started closing deals. This guy now runs a multiple 7-figure business out of Texas with employees, kick-ass office, has a family now, your first child, got married in 2.5 years.
Shit. It's just a deep situation. Wow.
Yeah, and he'll write to me, and he'll say, bro, like, you've literally been one of the largest contributor to my success and the way my life is planning out. So I come and I sit right back and I think, and I'm like, well, that makes me extremely happy, and it fulfills me. And sometimes I feel like I want, or I know that I deserve to be at these crazy levels that I have in my mind. But then I start thinking, I'm like, well, it has to be a divine situation, right? Like, there's a reason why I need to be where I'm at right now. And it's because of probably the impact that I have to do in other people's lives. Because otherwise, you won't even have access to me and the information that I have to give you in order for your life to maybe take a turn, or get that little piece of information, that little weaving in your life, in order for you to catapult and reach the levels you want to reach to. But I have to be in this stage, because if I'm too big and I'm already gone, well, yes, can there be somebody else? But it may not be as impactful. Like, I literally needed to be there for that to happen. You understand where I'm coming from, as far as like divine?
Right. No, yeah. Like, you feel like if you were doing anything else, if you were in a different pathway, different situation, like, you might not even be able to have the access to these people that actually need you in the situations that you're currently in.
Yes. So I stay grateful in that. Not that I want to stay in this position, but I'm grateful, right? Like,
I've never really looked at it that way, but it makes sense. I mean, for sure, because I think that I probably discount that sometimes as well. I don't really take into account, the impact that I really have on the people that I talk to and reach out to every single day. And, because just for the most part, I do get messages and DMs and stuff, here and there about people that reach out, and like, man, but it's funny. Like, I had four sales appointments today for my new business, and I closed all 4 of them. But one of the guys, like two of the guys who I talked to, they both said, one of them said, he's like, I wanted to reach out to you. Like, he was trying to sell me on him. And he was like, yeah, because, like, I already, he's like, I know your name. I know who you are. I've seen you around. Like, I know that you know what you're doing. And I really want to work with somebody like you. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do let's do it. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there trying to figure out if I can make the sale right. I'm trying to close him, but he's sitting there like he's already closed, before he even got on the call. And then there was another guy that was like, he's like back in May, he was having a discussion with me somehow through, I don't know if it was in like a voice channel or something. Somehow he had, he had heard me. We had talked, I guess, on Discord a couple of times, and he said that I changed his, like I helped his whole business. Like the words, and I don't even really, I mean, like I think maybe I remember who this person is, but I don't really remember. But he says that a conversation that we had randomly one time
Yeah.
changed his whole direction, and now he's getting ready to close his first deal. 3.5 months later, this Friday, and he said that one conversation that he had with me changed his whole trajectory, and that's why he now wants to work with us for marketing, which is crazy. But and he eventually wants to start working with us in the higher tier and helping him scale out once he really gets more deals under his belt. But he wants to take his first deal and completely reinvest back in with me.
Right.
And then he wants to eventually get to a point where when he starts getting multiple deals, then he wants to invest that back into my systems and consultations, and then he wants to work with me to help him scale out his business. So I think that's huge, and I didn't even I don't even remember either of these guys. I can't recall talking to either of these guys, but that just proves that me being unconscious, having unconscious clarity whenever I'm speaking, that's proof of concept that I am reaching people that I don't even really pay attention to, then there's people that are taking into account everything that I said. I think I talk about my friend Mo sometimes. I don't even think Mo really understands how much of an impact he really had on my business future.
Exactly.
Just by having a conversation with me inside of a hotel room one day and really wasn't even paying attention. I don't even think he really even knows, because we don't really, we're not, we're close, but we're not super close. He knows
Right.
that I'm, that I'm doing my thing, but I don't think he really knows to what impact he really had on my life, because we've never really had that conversation. We only ever really had the conversation when we're around mutual friends or we go work out or whatever. And he's just kind of pushing me or, giving me more advice or talking around or asking, we don't ever really sit down and have that conversation of this is what we did. And you having that conversation changed my whole life. But it's funny because he is really good friends with my friend Justin, who, one of my best friends who lives back home, and Justin and his wife do this huge Halloween party every single year. They have this huge Halloween party, and I haven't really had a chance to go. I think we talked about this in the last podcast that I was going to go to the Halloween party. So I'm going. So I'm taking my girl back with me, and Mo is going with his girl as well. Mo's not from where I'm from, but he's going because it's Justin's party. So this time we'll actually all be there. We'll all get to go sit down at my restaurant and sit down at my family's restaurant and have dinner. And I was my plan is, I want to sit down and actually, when I really am able to sit down, we're actually able to have a real conversation without it just being like a bro talk kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I want to be able to sit down and really tell him, what he's really did for me mentally and what he really did, for my business and my future, and really changing my whole perspective and mindset.
I think it's important to do that.
I do too.
I hold very dear to a lot of people that have helped me along this journey. I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. I do not. I come from a solopreneurial family. They own one business and they own that one business for forever, and they work in that business. So it's like they created their own job. Let's just say that was it.
I mean, similar situation. That I grew up in. Yeah.
But it's not like they had this successful business and they franchised it all and then became millionaires over that. None of my family's millionaire. I'm probably the one that makes the most out of everyone in my family. That's just what it is. And so for me to really understand this path of entrepreneurship and starting businesses and having the cojones to reinvent myself and start from the bottom multiple times, It's not that easy. I went to business school, but because business school really
Did
teach
you
you.
really? Did you really? My girl. My girl wanted to go to. She wanted to go to. She wanted to go to business school originally.
See that?
Yeah, yeah. She wanted to. She wanted to go to business school, and then she didn't think she could go to. She wasn't interested in being a doctor at all. Isn't that crazy?
It happens that
She was
way.
gonna
And
go.
then,
She was going to business school, and she was literally in the college of business. So what do you learn? What do you learn in business school though? What do they?
I mean, college is going to teach you whatever in biz. I went to college, I went for business administration, I guess.
Okay, but
And then
what is like the overall? What is
dude,
the overall goal?
overall is like supply and demand, right? That's basically what they teach you is like supply and demand, and quarterly reports. How they look at those, the earnings and shit like that. But it doesn't teach you like,
I think automation's going off again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on right now.
it went crazy.
I gotta figure. I don't know what this number, dude. I'm losing my mind
It's
right
throwing
now.
you. Gotta block them.
Crazy. What is this? Mapleton, Georgia. Oh, I bet that's the title company.
Oh
Wait, should I take this live on the call?
Yeah, let's do it. This is part of business.
It's a title company. I can't even hear.
Thank you for choosing Torrey King's Law Firm.
Oh, it is.
Our business hours are from 9
I'm trying to get paid.
5 p.m., Monday through Friday. To better serve you, please listen to and select from the following 5 menu options. If you have a new contract and would like to know where to send it, please press number 1. If you need a copy of our wiring instructions, please press number 2. If you are a lender and would like to send us your title request, please press number 3. If you would like an update on a transaction currently with us, please press. If you'd like an update on your transaction, please note that there are nuances to each transaction, and an update request may require research that can take as little as a few minutes, but it can also take much longer depending on the file. Because so, we generally do not provide updates over the phone. If you'd like an update on your transaction, the best way is to log into our customer portal and review the status bar, which is designed to give you a bird's eye view on the status of your file. If you don't have access to the customer portal, or if after reviewing the status bar in the customer portal, you have additional questions regarding the status of your transaction, please send us an email to closings@troykinglawfirm.com. That's closings with an S. Once again, closings@troykinglawfirm.com. Please include the property address in the subject line of your email.
Bro, what in the fuck? Well, let's listen to the voicemail.
Hey Dan, this is Teresa with Troy King Law Firm. Trying to reach you to get your wire information for Briar Creek. I don't have an email from you, so I need you to provide that so I can see your wire form. Please give me a call back, 770-702-0800, extension 0. Thank you.
Extension 0.
Get your life together. You're trying to get paid.
No,
We're trying to get you paid.
Thank you for choosing Troy King Law Firm.
Oh,
Our
boy.
business hours.
All right, here we go.
Let's get paid live.
Get paid live. Now, if they don't answer the phone, I might be pissed.
You shouldn't. They
Shut the fuck up.
It's not their fault.
I got stuff to do.
If you've reached this voicemail during normal business hours,
Send them an email, bro. Here's my wiring instructions. Send the wire. I barely talk to my title company.
Yeah, no, my transactions team. They're calling me back.
Let's do it.
Hey, this is Dan.
Hey Dan, it's Teresa calling you back. How are you?
This is on
Doing well.
YouTube.
How you doing, Teresa?
Good. I need to send you our wire form. Is your email still sales at apexinvestmentco.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sending you a form now. If you could fill it out and send it back. We're working on getting all the wires. Okay. As soon as I get it, I will call you back and we'll verify verbally. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
You could have told her she was live on YouTube.
I know I should have told her. She'd probably freak out. She'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Thank you for getting me paid live on YouTube.
Yeah, but what were we saying? I don't even, I don't
Oh,
even
no,
know.
we're
I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to make money over here.
God.
I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even think the deal. I think the deal's like 15,000 or something.
Okay, that's not too shabby. Not too shabby. Where is it?
Jonesboro, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I've been like Georgia has been like a hit or miss for me. Like it's never been really a consistent place.
dude, isn't it crazy that like 2 years ago, if I would have gotten that phone call and like that had this situation going down, I'd be sitting there like on the phone, like trying to sit in my wiring and trying to send it to me now.
Right.
Now I'm like,
I'll get it to you.
15,000. Get it to me when you get it to me.
That's fine. That's
No.
But
No,
business, college.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like they just obviously textbook stuff.
Yeah, what are you learning? What do you learn in like
Just textbook stuff. It's not anything like it's not about the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, how to set up an LLC, none of that. Like none of that is spoken of. Not that I can remember anyway. Yeah, and so I don't know. But anyway, I just didn't have like the role model of how to do that. So going back full circle is basically I really do give gratitude to absolutely everyone that has contributed to where I'm at today, right? As far as getting me to either mindset type of blockage stuff or actual tools and practices that will make me better as a better business person. And so I think it goes a really long way because they are literally making an impact in your life, and it may motivate them, right? Because you don't know what they're going through. They may motivate them to understand like, oh, well, I've helped somebody, right? Like that was a mission. That was something really good. And that's a really phenomenal feeling. This is why I do it. Because whether you're successful or not, entrepreneurship is still a freaking roller coaster.
I mean, yeah, what do you really think? What do you think really qualifies yourself as an entrepreneur? Like, I feel like that's a good question. I feel like we don't talk about that. What really qualifies it? What's the difference between? First of all, what do you feel like the difference is between? Is there a difference between being a business owner or a founder and an entrepreneur?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel that an entrepreneur is somebody that can venture off and create, a business or multiple businesses, whether you're a founder or not. Typically you are a founder of your business if you're owning your own business.
Right.
But, I guess it's just not really working for someone I would consider to be an entrepreneur. Now, if you're not able to evolve your business where it can have multiple branches, I think you just become a solopreneur and you don't have employees, you don't have anybody that helps you, for you to delegate things out. Then you're just a solopreneur. You just created a job for yourself. An entrepreneur can create freedom and delegate things out, whether it be just that one business. It doesn't really have to branch out to a whole bunch of other things. If it's a successful business and it just does that one thing, but most of the line items of what it takes to do the business successfully is mostly delegated. Well, I mean, you're an entrepreneur and you're typically able to do that system and process maybe in that business that and maybe build other businesses as well. But if you decide that one business is really where you want to stick to and you're comfortable with that and it grows and it's delegated out and you do really have freedom to some capacity, well, I think that qualifies you as an entrepreneur.
Right. I mean, yeah. Do you think it really matters though? Like do you think only certain people can really be entrepreneurs? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
There's no way like everybody can be an entrepreneur. That's not a thing.
Why?
Why? Because some people can't handle the pressure.
Why is that? Why is no? But what I was gonna say is, why is that? I don't understand why. But why do you think that there's so many people though that try to sell this? Because there's a lot of, and I don't mean to be like, I don't mean to.
But you
I don't
are.
mean to. I don't mean to hate on your people or anything, but it seems to me that there is a lot of New York type of attitude of like there's this New York type attitude of like if I come from New York, I can do anything, anywhere, anytime,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to.
And typically that is the truth.
Right.
Because
it's so hardcore.
It is very hardcore. There is no time for feelings and emotions and bullshit in New York. Like, you're gonna get
or excuse me or anything.
none of that. None of that. Oh my god! Like, can you believe Susie didn't say hi to me in the street? Like, yes, bitch. You know what I mean? So it's like you're developed with so much thick skin when you're in New York, right? Like, you would probably, if you're like soft and you're really, really emotional, right? Which is like one of the first rules of business is like you got to remove emotions. If not, then you're pretty much out the game. So New York obviously removes a lot of the emotional things because you become numb to seeing fights in the corner, police arresting people, pure daylight. You may see a drug transaction happening at any given minute. You're going to have people, pushing you, looking at you a certain type of way, cursing you out just out of nowhere, just legit. You know what I mean? You bump into somebody by mistake and like, immediately it's a full out brawl. So if you're super mega sensitive to that, well, then yeah, you're probably not going to make it. Right. And because you have to create this thick skin out in New York City, and I want to specify New York City because not all of New York, just because you come from New York and you come from Rochester, it's not the same as coming from Manhattan, Brooklyn, and the boroughs in New York City. That's two different types of New York. You're born, raised in New York City, and you can create a business, or you can develop those type of unemotional skill set. Then yes, you go anywhere else and you can really conquer the freaking world.
Do you think that there's a lot of like, because I also feel like in the minorities of America have a much stronger sense of wanting to be entrepreneurs. Do you feel that?
I do, because of a necessity. Necessity. Right? You're clawing and you're climbing, and you will go work 3-4 jobs if you had to. Right?
But is that immigrants, or is that like if you're just born to immigrate, does it matter?
I think if you're an immigrant coming from a really low income place and you really have the grit to handle that much emotional, mental, and physical abuse, you could become a pretty kick-ass entrepreneur because you have the necessity, bro. Like, think about people have a hard time doing a 9 to 5, and they're like tired and like complaining and the whole thing, and like, oh my god. Well, you have people that come from Africa, that come from Haiti, that come from the Dominican Republic, that come from Cuba, that come from Mexico, and you call them and they're ready to rock, bro. Like, they'll work 7 days a week, they'll work 13-14 hours without a complaint, and they'll go ahead and get it done.
Yeah, but do they always get it done the right way though?
They get it done. Entrepreneurs don't get things right. Businesses don't get things right.
That's true. No, I that's very.
It's
true.
not about being right. It's about.
But I feel like sometimes, like like we all know, like, we all have those, like the cleaning lady. You know what I mean? That tries to get a couple extra dollars out of you, or spend. I mean, she cuts corners. She might put a vase on top of this and not wipe this. I got done in 3 hours. I respect the hustle. so I got this crazy story. So my girlfriend's name is Sabina, right? Like she's from Poland, and her name is Sabina. Up until 3 months ago, she was the only Sabina that I ever met in my entire life. I don't know anybody else named Sabina ever. So weirdly enough, so I don't know if you know the situation about like my living situation and all this stuff, but like basically the unit that I have right now is the owner of the unit can't decide if he's gonna want it back and want to stay there, or if he's going to get this house that he's looking for, that he's trying to get in because his wife wants him to go, get a house and all this stuff, blah blah blah, whatever. So it's kind of in a weird situation with me, like where he wants me to continuously lease the unit, right? Like he wants me to lease the unit, he wants me to rent the unit. We've already kind of worked that out, but at the same time, he doesn't really know where the situation is and where it's going to stick and where it's going to land. Like if I might have to be out of the unit for 2 to 3 months before he really figures himself out. And I was like, nah, it's not. I can't. I don't know if I can put myself into that situation, right? Because my comfortability, everything like that, I think it's very important to me. And so when it comes to this situation, I just said, is it cool if I just go look at some other units in the building and just go ahead and place some things down just in case, so that way at least I have backup if for some reason you need to be a couple months out. Like maybe we can work this out again. Maybe I just set up a lease with them for 6 months, and then maybe we talk again in 6 months when you're in a more comfortable position to do whatever it is that you want to do. And he was like, okay, yeah, like I don't care if you do that, but just try to give me some time, at least give me to the end of this month to really figure things out before you make a final decision. I was like, all right, totally fine, cool, whatever. So there was another unit in my building, this unit 1604. And it's originally, I went to go see it because it was on the market for lease. And I just wanted to go see it. I was like, let's take a look at it, see what's going on. And the owners were in a difficult situation because they were in the situation where they were, I'm sorry, my messages are blowing up.
There you go. I can see.
Anyways, now. Anyways, I was in this situation where I was trying to go see this unit for a lease originally, because they were trying to lease it because they had moved out because they went to go buy a house, and then they're just now stuck with this unit that they bought last year, and they're just trying to get rid of it basically. So they were going to lease it first, and they wanted just an astronomically high number. I was just like, no way, it's not worth it. And I was like, no. And then so I went back to the realtor like later on, and I was like, hey, like, do you think they would take this number if we made a deal, right? Because my landlord doesn't really know what he's going to do. So would they be open for me letting them keep it on the market to sell? I move in because I'm out there looking to live there long term anyways, right? Mm-hmm. That way, maybe I only end up in there for 3 months until someone buys it. It gives him 2 to 3 months really to make his decision. Then I don't have to really like move out of the building. I don't have to make a whole bunch of choices. I can leave most of my stuff in my unit. So he goes, no, they just really want to sell.
Okay.
They'd be willing to take that. I'm like, so are they just going to keep paying for the utilities? They're just going to keep paying until they sell it? He's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't need your help. So then I made an offer on this other unit that was on the first floor that's basically the same layout as my unit. And they wanted a stupidly high number. And I thought my offer was stupidly high enough they would consider it. And the only reason that I made it is because they have 2 boat slips that come with it. Plus, it is a much bigger and it's much larger unit, and it does make more sense than 1604. Well, they denied my offer because some guy offered them full asking price for the rental, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So some guy offered it, and then he got denied by the HOA because of his dog.
Oh,
so
I thought it was because he was a crypto trader.
It was
because he was a crypto trader.
They often get denied.
You ain't got no income.
That makes sense. Yeah. So, but anyway, so then he basically gets denied, and they call me back. They're like, hey, is that offer still on the table? And I'm like, nah, sorry. I just like hang up the phone. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't need your shit. Good luck. So then what's crazy is the guy from 1604, the realtor from 1604, calls me up one day. And I'm like, yeah, who's this? He's like, it's Bento from 1604. Oh, hey, what's up, Bento? He's like, and I'm thinking maybe they reconsidered, my offer because still I was still on the market, it still hasn't sold. So, and he's like, hey, so we got an offer for 1604. I think my owners, they're going to take it. We're locking it up under contract. I was like, okay, great. Like, why the fuck you calling me for? You want a backup offer? Like, what do you want? What do you want from me? And he's like, so the new owners though are investors, and they are looking for somebody to. Now, I promise I'm going to reconnect this all to what I said in the very beginning. So just a second. So just stay with me. So he said the new owners are looking for a tenant because they're investors. And they're looking to hold it long term and potentially get equity off of it and sell it, maybe add some stuff into it, flip it a little bit, and sell it later on. And I was like, okay. So basically, he said, do you want me to connect you with them? They might be more open to your asking price of your rent, asking price. So I'm like, oh man, see, the universe is aligning.
Right, everything's coming.
And he texted me and he said, hey, Dan, I would like to introduce you to Sabina, who's buying unit 1604.
No,
I literally almost threw up for a second.
Because
what's crazy is that my girl is potentially maybe or maybe not leaving her place where she lives. And she likes my building a lot. And so I was like, no way that she would make an offer or a contract or lock up a unit in my building without telling me. But it wasn't her, obviously. It was some other Sabina.
There's only one Sabina in the world, Dan.
There's only one. So I send her a screenshot of it, and she's like, no fucking way. She's like, that's a 1 in a million chance, right? That you run into another. I was like, yeah, like 100%. So this girl calls me on the phone. And we're talking, and she's okay at first. And then she goes, we're kind of talking. She's like, I'm explaining to her my situation. She's explaining to me her situation. And she's like, yeah, we don't really even know if we really have it at a good price. Like, we feel like it's a little bit high, but it's whatever. My partner wants to move forward. I have an investing partner. Okay, sure. All right. Whatever you want to call it. But she has an investing partner who's
sugar daddy.
Right. I didn't say that.
Let's cut to the chase. It's a sugar daddy. Okay.
So I said, okay. I said, well, supposedly she's a wealth manager, is what she tells me. Apparently she's a hedge fund wealth manager. Now, you can be a hedge fund manager, and there's different levels. There's different levels to wealth management.
Is that what sugar babies call themselves now? Wealth managers? It makes total sense.
They manage the wealth of their.
They do manage the wealth. That is a really Dan. That is wow. That connects. That makes sense.
If she's watching this, she's gonna die. There's odds of her coming into this video are 0 to none, but I don't really give a shit because I'm gonna tell you why. Because basically, we go through this whole conversation. And then I'm like, I said, it's funny. I said, you and my girlfriend have the same name. And she goes, and she said something like, she goes, I think she thought that I was flirting with her. And I was like, oh, no. Like, no, I'm being serious. Like, she thought like, oh, like my girlfriend. Like
right. I'm your girlfriend now. Okay. Gotcha.
And so she starts getting like kind of weird. And I was like, no. I'm being serious. Like, you and my girl, like she's like, oh, really? That's wild. Like, where is she from? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we get this whole thing. Anyway, she's like, I'm like, how much do you guys want for the, for the unit or whatever? She's like, she wants like even higher number than the previous owners want. And she's like, we're not closing until October 16th. And I was like, are you guys actually under contract? Or like, because I mean, how would this even really work? You guys haven't even bought the unit yet. She's like, yeah, like I was thinking maybe we lock it up after we go through with our inspection period and all this shit. I was like, this is probably my highest offer. She's like, first she started at like a stupid high number. I came in at like 4 under. And then she dropped 2 on her own without even talking to her partner. And she's like, well, let me just, because I was just about to hang up the phone. I was like, yeah, well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then I was just like, just like dump it. And she's like, whoa. She's like, maybe I talked to my partner. Maybe I figure some things out. You know what I mean? Maybe I work. And I was like, okay, all right. So I was like, yeah, just call me back if, if things change. So anyways, another unit pops up in the building that is currently for sale, and they just redid it. They fully renovated it, changed it, and refurnished it. Like, got this brand new designer furniture company to come in and stage the whole place with designer furniture and all this stuff. So it looks immaculate, and I went to go see it because they had an open house for it. And I know the realtor who has it listed, and he texted me and asked me to come see it. This guy named Jason, really cool guy, went to Ohio State, so we're Buckeye buddies.
Okay.
So he wanted me to come see it. He's like, because he knows and I'm telling him a little bit about my situation, and we're hanging out, like me and my realtor hanging out with him and inside the unit, and he's like, maybe she'd be open to some creative terms for this unit. Maybe I could talk to the owner, maybe some things would work out, maybe so we're potentially working out a deal with that right now. Like, that's potentially what I'm working out right now, because I went in there and I was like, this unit looks like it's crazy how much of a difference changing the little things that they did made such a huge difference in the first time, because she had it listed for sale back in January or February, and I went to go see it, and it just didn't even, like, I was just like, this unit's not even worth half of what she's asking for. Like, she was asking stupidly high, even more high than what she's asking now, and it it just didn't make any sense. And it was empty and had no furniture, and then it wasn't like they hadn't painted anything, and they hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
So now they read through with all this. I was like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Like, the pictures look crazy. Like, everything is really beautiful on the inside. So we're potentially working something out with that right now. But then what's even crazier is I get back home from that, and this Sabina girl calls me again. And I'm telling her, and I said, well, the situation is, I said, well, my situation, I said, I understand what you guys are asking. I said, but 1601, it's only asking for $2,000 more than what you guys are asking for this unit. And it's like, it's $5,000 more a month worth than what your unit is. And she kind of got offended by that, sort of. And I was like, I don't know why you're really offended, because you haven't fucking bought the place yet. Like, I don't know, And she kind of acts like they already have, like, her partner already has somebody else in mind that'd be willing to pay what they're asking. I was just like, okay. I said, lock him in, right? Like, and she's like, yeah, but I would really like someone who understands the business, who understands our path to be in there, and blah, blah. She starts making up all these excuses. But what's funny is I said, this is where it gets weird. I asked her, I said, do you know about the noise issue in that unit? And that's like a known thing in that unit. People know about the noise issue, because there's something about the walls and the insulation. Like, apparently you can hear fucking all your neighbors in that unit. And that's why they're having a tough time. They were having a tough time selling. And so she goes, tell me about the noise issues. And I tell her everything I know or whatever. She's like, how do you know this? And I was like, well, it's like, blah, 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 blah. And then I tell her, I'm like, well, here's the deal. I said, 1808, he wants me to continue to lease with him. It's just, he's just wonky on his time, but he's literally asking me to rent his unit for the same price that you guys are asking me to rent your unit for. And he's at 2,800 square feet, and you guys are like only 24. And she's like, it's not 2,800 square feet. It's the same exact square footage. I said, no, it's not. They messed it up. I was like, started explaining it to her about like the county plans and all this stuff or whatever. I said, they just recently updated it on the MLS. I said, in 1601 is the same layout, but it's newerly renovated, and it has all the furniture and it's furnished. And she's like, what, you don't like the furniture in my unit? I was like, first of all, it's not your fucking unit yet. But no, I don't like the fucking furniture. We're really getting there. I don't like the fucking furniture. And I was like, and then you got the sound issue and all this stuff. So she goes, well, yeah, I mean, the sound issue, I can understand that being a problem. She's like, I mean, like, you definitely don't want to ever hear anybody having sex ever, or anything like that. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Wait a minute. We were talking about the elevator noise.
Where did we pull this out of the pocket? Where did you pull that out of the pocket? And she's like, And this girl literally, what's crazy, she would not let me get off the phone, Juan. Like, I do have to give her credit for the hustle.
Yep.
Because she would not let me get off the fucking phone.
Can we hire her?
And that's what I said. I said, I really need to feel like I need to hire you for my business. And she's like, and then she tells me, she's telling me she does all this wealth management, and then she works with family offices. And I was like, yeah, I bet you do work with a lot of family offices, but whatever. So she's like, you know, I'm a good contact to have around. Like, kind of trying to sell me on her.
Oh man, all right.
So I was like, did you miss the fucking picture where I told you that I'm not fucking single? Anyways, then she goes, then this is where it gets really weird, Juan. She goes, if you want to test the sound noise boundaries, we can both go to the unit and we can yell really loud, or I can yell really loud and see if anybody hears us. And I was like,
sugar baby. Oh,
I was like, I think that I'll pass on that. I don't think I need to test that.
I know the unit more than you do. I'm good. I'm going to pass on that.
I'm going to pass on that one. I said, hey, but you know what? It sounds like your partner already has somebody. And she was like, well, maybe or whatever. And then my realtor was like, she doesn't fucking have anybody. They don't have anybody. That's why she won't let you get off the fucking phone.
You're the only offer that they had, dude.
And then I went on the square footage thing because first she tried to deny me that I wasn't correct on the square footage. And then when I told her why, then she was like, well, does that really matter in a rental? It's like you're buying the unit. I was like, yeah, it all fucking matters because it's worth the value. And she's like, well, how do you really determine what you want to rent? Is this who offers you the best offer? I was like, it's just what I want. Like, I'll go with the one that I want. I said, obviously the money does matter. And so anyway, she's like, okay, well, can you just text me your full name and your email and all this stuff? I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I get off the phone with her, finally get her off the phone. She calls my friend, who is my realtor, who is also the realtor of 1808, to verify the fucking information. But she doesn't do it in the right way. She goes behind my back and she pretends that she wants to make an offer on 1808.
Wow.
And he already knew, though. He already knew who she was because we had already worked out that morning together. We'd already worked out at the gym that morning together, and we were sitting there talking about her. And I texted him as soon as me and her hung up and said, guess who just called me? That Sabina chick just called me. And then not fucking 30 minutes later, he texts me and goes, guess who I just spoke to on the phone? And then he calls me and tells me that this girl called him, tried to make an offer on their unit, and then pretended like she wasn't the one trying to buy 1604. And then she even asked him, she goes, would you ever even really consider taking an offer to rent the unit? And he's like, maybe for the right person, maybe for the right guy, maybe for the right, for the right tenant, maybe we would. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, I just didn't know it was available for lease. And she's like, but if I made an offer, she's like, what if I offered 1.3 or something like that? And he was like, nah, we're good. And she's like, what if I offer 1.5? And he was like, nah, we're good.
You spent $200,000.
Yeah, he said, nah, we're good. He said, but this is what he said. He goes, but I heard that 1604 is up for sale. And then this bitch goes, no, I think that property's under contract. And he goes, oh, really? No. He goes, I just looked it up on Redfin. He said it's still open. It's still in the market. It doesn't say under contract. He's like, oh, well, I heard it was under contract. Maybe they have an inspection period.
What is she trying to do?
I don't know, dude. But I'm like, what the hell? Because he's telling me
takeover is real.
I was like, I guess she was trying to make them a fake offer so that they would tell, so that they can. And I literally the first time I talked to her, I told her, because she goes, well, why would they rent 1808 to you or whatever? And I said, well, because I'm really close with the owner and I'm really close with the realtor. And
that's what it was.
And I said, I'm potentially negotiating terms out with 1601. And so, But she reached out to the guys from 1808 because it was like she wanted to try to see if she could wiggle her way in there, almost like she didn't trust me. But I was like, I fucking told you that we're friends. Like,
maybe
you should have known that they would have told me.
She would have eliminated you from that unit so that you're forced to rent her unit.
Exactly. That was her.
That's what it is. That's
so in a way, I respect it, but also, dude,
what
that girl, dude.
Well, I hope you never meet her.
I hope I never meet her.
Stay with the real Sabina.
Yes,
Stick to the real Sabina. Not this fugazi.
Very odd chance that I mean, it is odd that very low chance that if we do ever run each other,
that's some wild stuff. You must live in a really hot building because people are like fighting.
Well, I think the whole problem is that the issue is they just don't sell like hotcakes. That's the problem.
Yeah, they don't come on market often.
Well, no, I think the issue of it is like they're having a hard time leasing and selling the units. So it's like now the owners are like fighting over me because they like want somebody to buy, want somebody to lease. Like, please. Oh, we have an interest. Like, don't let them fucking get away. So she's probably afraid that they won't be able to ever find anybody who's going to lease that unit. And she thinks that I'm the best option because I've already been approved by the HOA in that building. I've already obviously paid that price range several times now.
Tell them that if they wait another 18 months, all the crypto guys are going to apply for leasing in that building and will have no problem getting the amount of money that they want, but they got to wait.
I will say, you will not get better units than you will in that building for under $2 million anywhere else in Miami.
See? The crypto guys will come. They just have to wait 18 months so that their bags get filled up and we're good to go. You got to sell some NFTs and you can sell all the real estate you want.
Let's answer some questions. Let's answer some questions. Where are we at? Dude, I don't know why we get some of these questions that we do. God. I'm not answering that question.
Sorry, guys.
Talk about Alex Hermosi's motto: give until they ask. Do you mind?
I'll let you chime in on that one.
Why? Because I'm not
like I haven't been following him like to that capacity. I'm not the best marketer either, so that's more marketing than anything else.
That's fair. I think overall, I do think that it. I think it's pretty accurate. I do think that I find that have gotten like it's been easier for me to sell my service because of how much I've given for free away up until this point. And if you think about it, when you're doing content and you're talking and you're giving away free information when you're doing content, like that's giving, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that, but when you're doing podcasts, when you're doing all that, and you're giving away free game and you're giving away free information, that is giving back to people for free.
And it's building credibility.
It's building credibility, and I think that's what giving does. Giving allows people to at least get in front of you, right? Like when I did the webinars and all this stuff, it at least allows people to get in front of you to assert yourself as an authority in a particular industry.
Yep.
So that when you go to sell something, people really feel loyal to you and the brand already, simply because they have listened to you and they feel like they've already gotten something from you. And they're more likely inclined to buy something from you if they've already felt like they've been given something from you for free to begin with. It's like when you go into a really nice store, or you go to a designer or clothing store, and they go, "Hey, do you want a glass of wine? Can we pour you some champagne? Can we get you a bottle of water?" It makes you want to stay there and spend money, right?
That
And
is,
casinos obviously do the same thing.
yep.
Right? They give you things so that you want to stay there and you want to give back to you think like, oh, I'm going to come here, I want to eat some food, because casinos make money off of everything, not just the games. They make money off the food that you eat, off the drinks that you buy, off of everything, right? It's like, I know people that are literally go to the casino, they'll win $300-$400, but they spent $500-$600 on drinks that
Yes, they do. I'm one of them. So I don't gamble.
So you didn't really win anything. Yeah. You didn't really win anything at the end of the day.
No, I lose every time I go. Except the last time. The last time I did pretty well. I put in $100 and I took out $1,750. Played it and I left. I got a free drink. Paid $100.
Yeah.
In the slot and came out $1,750. I was like, all right, good to go. But normally I'm just there watching and like consuming because I'm not really a big gambler like that. But yeah, that's how they make money. You get, the ambiance, the thing, the service, you build the brand, like you feel a certain type of way, and it's easy to sell. When you give, you're building the credibility, you're building the branding, you keep showing up, right? And then like you start thinking like, wow, well, if he gave me such great information for free, I can't even imagine
what he would give to me
when I pay for the service. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you just keep giving nuggets. There's got to be more.
Yeah, I think it's just you got to be careful about what you give away for free. Right?
Yeah.
It's like don't give away your time and stuff to single people, like to singular people. I think that's what you have to remember. Do the things where you're able to talk in groups, right? Like what I always say is seminars are free, private lessons cost money.
That's right.
So if you want to access the free information, come to my seminars, come to my webinars, come to the things, listen to my podcasts, do all these things so you can pick up on the free information. But if you want to get to the point where you want the extra added value, then you're going to have to pay.
Yep.
And so I think that's kind of where it kind of falls onto is like, you just need to be careful what it is that you're giving away for free. Don't spend a huge amount of your time when someone asks you a question, here and there, always plug your service, right? When someone really singularly comes up to you, you can answer their questions, but I like to answer their questions by plugging what it is that I can do for them if they were to buy my service.
Yeah.
Because it kind of gives them an understanding. It kind of gives them a paywall, right? It's like if you want the real sauce, you have to pay, and then it can implement this strategy. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's definitely go-tos in that. I mean, I think I just made 4 consecutive sales today, and I still have a very high ticket service. So and everybody that came to my calls today really came with the understanding of who they were talking. Like they already came with wanting to onboard. Like I didn't really have to pitch them that hard. I didn't really have to sell them that hard. I just had to show up and just be who I am.
Yep.
And verify that. And that's all I needed to do. And that's all you really should have to do at the end of the day. If you're selling a service, where you really sell people is with the marketing. You really shouldn't have to sell people in the calls.
Yeah.
The way that you sell them is simply by showing up and being who you are and being definitive and having clarity with who it is and what it is that you're offering. But if you understand your product and your service and what you're offering and you understand the value of what it is and you truly believe in the value, then you just really show up and you literally just tell them and just, explain to them the whole situation. If they're the right person, it should be a point where you're trying to qualify them for the product. right? And that's what I always try to make the call like, right? When they first get into the call, what I don't do is I don't try to sit there and tell them, oh, this is why my product's so great and my service is so great, and blah, 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 blah. This is what I want to do for you. And I want to break this down. I'm going to share my pitch deck and blah, blah, blah. I start the call with, you know what I start the call with? So what is it that you think I can do for you in your business?
Right. Yeah, I want to make it about them.
I let them tell me, like I let them pitch me on what, where, and I say, and they go, oh, well, you know, if they go, I really don't know. Then I say, well, how about this? How about you tell me a little bit about where you're currently at? And then I'll see which of my services fits best for you.
Or if it fits at all. I like that. Yeah.
Right. To see if we're a good fit for each other.
Yep.
And then they kind of sit there and they tell me about it. And then I like to throw my prices out to a point where I'm like, you know, and if we do this, I think this would be the best option for you. And that right now is only starting at, you know, this price, XYZ. And we can make it a really easy integration. And then this is going to take you to X, you know, A, B, C, D, E.
Get them to what their initial goal is, right?
Yeah, we go back to what they told me.
Right.
But I let them tell me where they're currently at. So, you know, but most of them come in with the idea they're ready to buy something. I just have to figure out what it is that they're ready to buy. And I want to make sure that I don't try to sell them or close them on the wrong product that they're also not ready to go for too, right? I try to make sure that I get enough clarity out of them to really understand what it is to pitch them, because if I pitch them the wrong product that they're not ready for, and I don't pitch them the right product, then I might have missed a sale because maybe they can't buy this product. Maybe they're not ready for this, but maybe they're ready for this thing over here that's a little bit cheaper, that it offers a little bit more of a, you know, entry level that I could have still pitched them, still closed the sale, still made the sale.
I definitely agree with that.
What's this guy? What's this guy talking about? Let's play snooker. What the fuck is this? What's he talking about? These French people are crazy. I gotta quit hanging around. I've been hanging out with these Europeans. Dude. I don't understand what they're saying half the time. There's white people, and then there's like European white people. It's very different. It's very different.
It's very different.
Very different, especially French people. I've found they're very they're very difficult to understand what it is that I'm being asked to do. I have a very hard time figuring out what it is that I'm being asked to do. So yeah, so like sometimes I feel like we're best friends, and then sometimes other times I feel like I don't really, I don't really know what they are. Dude, this motherfucker, this guy texts me right now, who's also my realtor. He's also my realtor, but he's also one of my, I don't know, I guess we're friends, but we're technically friends. Sometimes I don't feel that way. Sometimes I don't feel that way because French people, for those people who don't know, they like to harass you, especially if they're your friend. If you're friends, then they will harass you extra hard. And it's not always things that you want to hear. Like, it's not always like easy harassment. It's like when Juan harasses me, right? It's like, it's like they dig a little bit deep sometimes.
I'm telling
you, they think that's how they entertain themselves. They think it's funny. So, but yeah. So, dude, this motherfucker texted me the other day. I mean, I haven't even gotten my first meal in yet. I hadn't even gotten my first meal in. I literally just woke up 2 hours before that. I'm on some calls, and this guy texts me and he says, "Hey," he goes, "Are we still going to do that showing at that unit at 1:30?" I go, "Yeah, I'll be there." He goes, "Okay, cool. We train now." Are we train? We train, and I was like, yeah, sure. What time? And I was thinking he's going to say like maybe come here, you train at like 12 o'clock, and then we'll go to the showing at 1:30. This motherfucker goes, "Now? Question mark?"
No.
And here's the thing: is like if I say no, then there's no like rescheduling the event.
It's just no.
It's just no, and then he's just gonna go train on his own, and that's just it. He won't tell me that, but that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
It's crazy.
And that's also my pickleball. That's also my pickleball group. So I play with these Italians and these French guys. And
Are they any good?
dude, they're crazy good. He's really good. He's really good, and he beats me. He beats me every time we play.
That's fine.
He beats me.
That's fine. You can,
But
you can
it's good.
only,
It's good, dude. And he harasses me. He harasses me while he plays me.
that's even better. He's getting in.
He's getting into my head. He like fucks with me. He'll like slam it on my side of the court. You know what I mean? And he'll laugh at me. He'll do like an evil French laugh. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude,
Crazy.
this guy, yeah. But I don't even know what he has. Now he says, do you want to play snooker? I don't know what he's talking about. I think he meant to say, I don't know if he meant to say soccer. I can't play soccer.
Oh,
So I don't, I'm not, dude. That's out of the game. I cannot play soccer. I don't know how to play soccer, dude. Do you know he doesn't know who he's talking to?
I can't play soccer either.
You can't play soccer?
My kids do. I can't.
That's like don't you coach a girls' soccer team?
No, I mean, I give them some instructions to go do this and the other. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. And when they're like little, like really small, it's obvious kick the ball, right? But after a while, it's like, all right, well, you gotta dribble, you gotta juggle, you gotta do a whole bunch of different things, gotta connect the right way. I'm not your guy. Yeah, that's way.
We'll hire somebody. We'll hire a professional to work that out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what we do. So,
all right,
cool. Well,
let's get to this final question, then we'll taper it off. How do you feel like you find the right attorney in attorney states for closing real estate transactions? What do you feel? Do you qualify anybody anyway?
No, I don't do attorney states. How about that?
That's fair.
So I make my life a little easier. Anywhere that gives me a hard time wholesaling, right? Like you need this, that, and the other to wholesale, or it's attorney state. I'll just go somewhere else and do business where it's much easier to do the business. I don't need to put myself in the business is hard enough, right? To then be dealing with that extra nonsense. I can do a lot more deals in non-attorney state closings.
Makes sense.
But how do you do it?
I don't really have a qualification process. The way I like to do is I like to kind of call them up, kind of see where they're at. If they really understand, what I'm trying to do. First of all, I explained to them that we're a wholesaling transactions company. I'm very transparent with them up front because I don't want them to have any, sort of indication that we're buying the property or that we're closing on it. Make sure that they know the whole entire process, what's going on. Say, hey, have you guys done transactions like this before in the past? And based off of that, that interaction, they're comfortable with it. Then I go, okay, hey, what is your advice on telling me how to handle the correct, info for this particular state to make sure we can get this transaction done in the right way, right? So that way we don't reach any hiccups going into the closing to make sure it doesn't prevent us from having to extend or anything like that, right? Because I've had to do that before in the past, and it's almost killed the deal on a certain transaction that was actually worth a lot of money. We're about to make $35,000 off this one deal, and it almost killed the deal simply because I didn't understand the process of what we really needed to go through with this attorney company. And I will say they should have been more forthcoming with the information, but it was also partly my team's fault for not really getting the correct information, the clarity put into place beforehand to make sure that we wouldn't have to reach that situation going into that deal. So that's my advice.
I recently have been using David Oates, Easy REI Closing, and I saved myself so much time and effort. Oh my god! It'd be like 99 emails, right, between title company, closing attorneys, buyers, sellers, everybody in the middle, county, all this other stuff. Now, unless they absolutely need me, they're going back and forth in communication. They'll go ahead and select the right title company, the right closing attorney for whatever state. So I can go to attorney state now if I wanted to, now that I'm using David Oates, because I don't have to go through that pain of explaining what it is that I'm looking to do. They already have that back end. So that's a easy plug for Easy REI closers, or closings, I should say, with David Oates.
He sent me a He sent me a picture of an 8-ball.
Oh, but like a black 8-ball or a different type of 8-ball, like.
Not. He's not Colombian.
Oh, I don't know what the French. I don't know what the French.
I don't know what the French are into either.
Right? Because
no, he sent me a
he could
picture.
he could just tell you it's gluten, right? Because you're French bread.
He sent me a picture of a pool side. Maybe snooker is maybe that's pool in French.
Oui. That's all I got.
Shit.
Well, go
right.
go have some fun.
That's all for today.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. As always, we are back every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to join us, make sure to click that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below. And let us know if you like it, didn't like it. Let us know, and we will be back. Either way, we will be back to fulfill your day with happiness and joy, just like we do every single Monday. So, hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.